Well, hello, Jim. Thanks for being here today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, looking forward to jumping into a conversation about our executive advisory and leadership strategy practice at Brightwire, and incredibly excited to have you on board with us to really trailblaze what that means for the future.
Well, I'm excited as well, so let's get into it.
I like that. Just like a good strategist says, let's get into it, let's execute the plan. And as we both know, of course, first and foremost, we need to actually have the plan, and we need to have the leadership skills to be able to do that. So let's talk a little bit about that today. And you know, one thing that really comes to mind, Jim, is for a very long time at Brightwire, and of course you're aware of this, and those joining us watching as well are very aware, we've worked with leaders and teams to help them build the leadership skills that they need to be really successful. And in doing so, we've often helped them define or redefine their strategies for their companies. Because, you know, leadership and strategy are, you know, indispensable to each other. One is the mirror of the other in terms of how effective they are. And so it's really exciting to be formalizing the work that we do in this space, and knowing your great depth and your background that we're excited to learn more about today. Share a little bit about your perspective on how strategy in the business landscape has changed over the years.
Oh, would love to. And to be honest, this is the prime reason why I'm so excited to be a part of the Brightwire leadership team. Strategy and leadership historically have been connected but not integrated.
Right.
And the way that I say that is, historically, a team, the executives, or there could be even a hired out team, would develop a plan, a strategic plan, and it would be signed off by the board, and it would be thrown on a wall somewhere. And for the next year, everybody would just follow their orders and meet their objectives.
That's right.
And somehow would turn into success.
Right.
Today, the world is very different. Right. We have artificial intelligence, we have work from home, we have so many different social issues that are impacting how the world of work works and how businesses operate, that we need to integrate strategy and leadership much tighter together. Yeah. And the other thing is, organizations are much flatter now. So the hierarchical movement from here to here to here that relies on the CEO being the smartest person in the room.
Right.
Oh, those days are so gone.
That's right, that's right.
And a lot of the youth have much better technical skills. So we need more integration between strategy and leadership to be able to be effective as an organization.
Yeah, isn't that so true? I love that analogy, or that almost visceral experience, because we both have seen those strategic plans on the wall. They literally get posted and they're there for 12 months, 18 months. And where's the ability to iterate or sort of ebb and flow with the changes of the world today? Because, you know, the only thing that we know is for sure is everything is always changing. Well, to your great point, long gone are the days of strategic plans that sit there and don't move. But how do you actually have the skills within your people to look at a strategy, to be bought into it, and to be willing to and capable of iterating it to meet the organization where it's going, not where it once was?
Yeah, so I think you and I bring two sides of the coin together.
Yes.
You know, and I'm happy to talk about strategy and all I've learned and all I've implemented over the years.
Yeah.
You're an expert on leadership. Like, have you seen a big change in how leaders connect with strategy and how they run their organizations and the skills they need?
Yeah, thanks for that great question. 100% yes is the short answer. In terms of how have we seen that change at Brightwire? Well, first of all, as you alluded to, leaders are leading teams now of much larger sizes than ever before. A lot of economic recessions had led to organizations reducing their workforces. And as a result, a vice president who may have had 3 or 4 direct reports now may have 7 or 8. And so naturally, because of that change in scope of their portfolio, they no longer have the technical expertise to have all the answers. So suddenly you're a leader in a business with a larger team than ever before, and you don't have the technical expertise to drive the strategy. So fundamentally, you have to change how you lead. And that requires a leader to get the best from their people and extract all the brilliance and the great ideas from their people to co-create what the future looks like, whether it's for the division, the business unit, operating company, or the company as a whole. And so that leadership capability to trust in your people, to control less, and to let go of having to be that expert is something that we see and we work with leaders on really actively at Brightwire so that they can have robust plans that actually will work for what they're looking to achieve. And so what about you? You've seen a lot as well in your career. You've led strategies and designed strategic plans. You're, a professor of strategy. You've been a CEO. Maybe speak into your experience a little bit, Jim, as well.
Well, thanks, Christine. And, as you were speaking, I was thinking a lot about how I have seen the change over the years. Yeah. And as a CEO in real estate development in particular, there would be times where I'd have 2 or 3 direct reports, and we worked very closely together and just directed traffic for a much larger team of hundreds and hundreds of people. Right. In contrast, as Dean of the Haskayne School of Business, I had over 100 direct reports.
Yes.
Because the way it's structured is all of the professors report to the dean. And I wasn't comfortable with just leaving them totally on their own.
Yeah.
And what I learned was what you teach is that you can always have a coaching relationship and a personal relationship and understand what's important to people and encourage them, motivate them to find their true place. While also bringing it to the whole.
Yes.
I really saw that as the wave of the future and the way to be able to get that magic from each of your team members going in the right direction, because you do want a strategy and you want to be moving in one direction.
Yes.
But you have to get that brilliance from everyone.
That's right.
To really be a special organization.
Yeah. So would you say that command and control style of leadership has really evolved?
Out the window, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not going to work anymore because how can it be true that one individual has all the answers and can build that strategy and paste it on the wall and expect it to stand the test of time?
Absolutely. Futurists have come up with this phraseology now. They call it BANI, which is that the world is brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible.
Okay, so let's do that one more time. So brittle.
Brittle. So anxious, an example of brittle is like a few weeks ago, Microsoft systems did not migrate properly.
Yes.
Well, we have like airports shutting down, hospitals shutting,
that was a big deal.
Like our infrastructure is so brittle that we have to be very careful about it. As leaders, you need to be very adaptable, flexible, be able to shift into a new gear on the fly.
Yes.
So that's the only way you can respond to it. Anxious.
Okay.
People are very fearful. They feel the system's rigged against them. They're not sure what the future holds. So as a leader, you have to bring the confidence and comfort and bring everybody into the organization.
So true, so true.
To be able to deal with that anxiety and give them a little better sense of the future without trying to dictate what it'll be.
And without having all the answers.
Exactly.
I mean, that's really hard to do, right?
Exactly.
Critical.
Non-linearity is disruptions.
Yes.
Like, you tell me an industry that you've worked in that hasn't been disrupted in the last 10 years.
I feel like I don't have an answer to that, right? That's kind of the point. It is. It's so true. I mean, the only constant is everything is constantly changing.
Yeah.
And the mindset that a leader needs to have about that is either step in and embrace it or become obsolete quickly. And again, why those leadership skills are so important for strategic planning. But yeah, non-linear, right? It's just everything is non-linear right now.
And how does the strategy and how does the CEO as leader adapt to that? It's quite a challenge. You have to include improvisation. You have to be adaptable and flexible. And we'll talk a little more about that. And then the last one, which I think is really important, is incomprehensible. And the reason why it's important is...
I like that, yeah.
Something that I might find, the solution, by the way, is inclusion.
Okay.
Because
we're
something
come back to that.
I might find incomprehensible, you are like, no, I expected that.
That's the norm for me, right?
Exactly.
That's right.
So you have to have a broad diversity of thoughts within your team.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what you've seen on that.
Well, I mean, I can relate to all aspects of the brittle framework for sure, and I really appreciate the evolution of how that framework describes business today. When you think about even that incomprehensible piece, how many times have we had people say to us, well, that's just common sense? And what do you think about when someone says that to you, right? You're like, common sense? What does that even mean anymore? And we learn so much in leadership that perspective is reality, and often people's perspectives are very different from one another. And when you can step into that and you can celebrate that and you can appreciate that, that helps you as a leader bring a very diverse team together, create more inclusive leadership practices that help you get that better, more robust strategy, right? So I actually love this brittle framework and the context and construct, I guess you could say, that it provides in business, because when you look at things like, businesses are operating in a way that are brittle. They're easy to be broken because the world is changing around them. Employees are anxious. Leaders are anxious. It is hard to be a leader in this world today in a future that's very uncertain. Talk about being nonlinear. I mean, to me personally, that's really exciting, but I'm also, a little bit of an odd duck in terms of really liking disruption. The average person in the world finds it really hard to adapt through a lot of change. So when you can have an appreciation that the structured sort of process of managing a business and a strategy is very much a thing of the past. You can look at designing a strategy in a way that accounts for iterations, and by doing so is being strategic in itself. And then the last one, looking at being incomprehensible, talking about what is common sense in this world of business today, and the fact that arguably there isn't any. And I also really appreciate that, because to your great point, that allows for inclusivity and diversity, which I believe all businesses, leaders, and strategists alike need to have at the forefront.
Just to be a better organization.
Yeah, like full stop, right?
Yeah.
So
just to know how to do better.
Yeah.
Well, and when I look at strategy and where it's going these days, I'm sure some firms can get by with
Right.
doing the annual retreat and just
Yeah.
posting something on the wall.
That's
And
right.
everybody's got their objectives. But I think it's getting harder and harder. And if you want to be a leader in your industry, and you want to be cutting edge, and you want to make a place where people are clamoring to be a part of your organization.
Yes, yes.
I mean, that is a real telltale sign, by
Yes.
the way. I've been in that position
Yeah.
where people are just randomly calling you, can I join your organization?
Yes.
To be there, you have to have a much more dynamic connection
Yes.
with strategy and leadership within your organization. You can't just have a position and let it stand on its own.
Yeah. How true is that? The past, if you hold the past to be true for the present, we will only get more of what we've already had.
Correct.
And who doesn't want something different for the future, even for those organizations that are doing things incredibly well? I love that point. The days of strategic planning with the whiteboards and the flip charts and the sticky notes, be it digital or not, the sticky notes might not be
Wait a
going for
minute.
good.
I like sticky
Yeah,
notes.
we're going to keep the sticky notes. We'll keep the sticky notes. But it's just really about not being stuck
Yeah.
and overly committed to one way of doing things. It's about having the leadership capability and the ability to develop your people so that they have the skills to roll with the punches and to be ahead of them wherever possible.
Yeah, the interesting framework for this is actually risk. Because if you think about it, how risky is it to adopt a rigid framework to try and deal with a dynamically changing environment?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's too risky. So I'm really excited about what we can do at Brightwire and what our plans are right now.
Yeah.
That we can help people see strategy with, more of a coaching lens.
Yes.
Because I really feel that is a connection all the way through in dealing with people.
Yeah.
Because you want people to rise to the occasion, to be the best they can be.
Yeah.
I don't know a model better than coaching that helps and that can be adapted throughout an organization.
Yes.
And really grow the organization.
Yeah, isn't it so true? I mean, it's the number one way to develop people. And here we are saying that leaders can't have all the answers themselves anymore, nor are they actually equipped with the expertise to have the answers because of the size of their teams and the changes of the world today. So all they have is their ability to rely on each other and rely on their teams. And in order to do that, they need to use coaching skills to develop their people.
Yep.
So I am so excited to partner with you and our incredible team at Brightwire Leadership to marry the strategy expertise and the sort of evolution of how the world of strategy needs to be for the future with the number one skill required to develop leaders so that they're equipped to execute on the plans. I mean, how exciting is that when you think about the impact that we'll continue to have together?
Let's move to the future.
Let's move to the future, and just like we started this conversation, let's go. Time to execute, right? But we might need a plan first. Thanks, Jim, very much for joining us today and for the great conversation. And looking forward to continuing these as we bring more education and insight to those valued partners of ours at Brightwire Leadership and to our great team.
Absolutely. I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Thanks.